So you're on record saying you pretty much don't use any samples and you record everything yourself. But when you're stacking drum sounds, what are some different ways that you get different drum sounds you record to stack? Are you using, say, if you are using 3 different snares, or do you have like tricks that you use to record the same snare differently? Or?
There's a couple times where I use the same snare and just, you have to pitch it. You can't use the same snare because it's going to flange, or it's going to be out of phase, you know, so it's going to sound weird.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pitch it a little bit. One of them, you know, you have to pitch it. But mostly I use all different snares for different reasons. One snare is the sound. This is what I want to be the sound of my snare. The other snare would be to get that high end pop, and another snare would get the low end smack. So they all have a purpose. It's not just to toss a bunch of sounds on each other.
Right.
Everything has a purpose, even with the kicks, even with the hi-hats. It all has a purpose and a reason why I'm doing it. If I don't at all need to stack it, I won't do it.
So you were saying, like, if you can knock out, say, 10 skeleton tracks a night. What in the situation with We Taking Over was, and you had the that synth loop sound. Was that something you'd already made before Khaled came to you, or?
No, I did it in that session.
Okay.
Next time you should ask me to bring my MPC.
All right.
Because I'll play you the other tracks I did in that session for Khaled. And We Taking Over was the one he picked, but there's a couple other crazy ones in there too. But no, I did it then. I rarely go back to something I already created. It's really rare, but no, it was done right then.
What usually happens then if you're just making music without an actual, commission for a track for an artist? What do you do? What happens to those beats?
I have them stored away.
They're in the vault.
They're in the vault.
Sitting in the vault to never be open again.
They'll be opened.
Eventually. I mean, I do so many, and I like to create fresh. I like to just work fresh. I hate playing people old stuff. Like, it could be 2 days ago, and I don't like to play it because let's do something now. Let's do something new. The energy is new, it's fresh. Let's do something now. But I have plenty. I'm trying to think of something that's out now that was old. And I know it's one. I just can't think of it right now. Well, on Nelly Furtado's album, Showtime, the record Showtime, I did that track maybe 6 months or more before she actually recorded. I mean, before we actually even knew we was going in the studio with her, that track was done. But that was one of the ones I guess Tim remembered and was like, yo, go to that track. But rarely I go to old music.
So speaking of Timbaland, you worked with him a lot, and you also kind of did some stuff with Teddy Riley as a producer. What were some of the most important or things that you learned from Timbaland and other producers who kind of helped bring you up?
With Teddy, I wasn't in the studio with him like I was with Tim, but he mixed his own records, and it was incredible to see. Just to put that much care, he cared, like he got to be right, and you see him putting the time in it. So that was something I kind of picked up, to just care about what you're doing and love what you're doing, always love it. Tim is I mean, I could talk about it all night. I've been in the studio days with him, but man, I can't think of anything specific. It was just a lot from just watching him work. From how secretive he is when he's creating, like he'll just have the headphones on, and you can't even hear what he's doing. Me, I'm blasting the headphones. I like working the headphones, but I'm blasting. And if you close, in fact, Diddy is a record on his press play album called Diddy Rock, and I had my headphones on, and me and Tim both working in headphones in the room, and he's a nosy guy, cool dude, but he tilts his head to me and like, what's that? Take the headphones off, let him hear it. Oh, another session with Justin, and he had a guy in the room, Jay. Jay heard me on the headphone, and this was the My Love track, and called Justin in the room. I'm listening to this track, and everybody just banging it in the headphone. But with Tim, he's real secretive in the headphone. Then when he finally gets something, when he get it, he hops up. I mean, you will never see anybody move as fast. He hops up, and he's just all over the place. He hopped to the booth. He's singing his idea. He'll put it on blast for a little bit, depending on if the artist is around, and he'll add or whatever. And if an artist is making his way back to the room, he's like, oh, shut it down. Like he shut it down. He turned it down like as if nothing is going on in the room. But he just watching that, I seen it. Once the energy is there, once you got it, go with it, feed off that energy until it becomes, whatever it's bound to be. But as soon as he get that energy, as soon as he grab it, he moved. Another thing, I learned all the stacking techniques from him, sampling and sound. I can go on and on about what I've watched and learned from watching him in the studio.
I wanted to read a quote from one of your interviews. I'll just paraphrase it because I can't find it, but there was one of your interviews, I think it was last year, with Remix, and you talked about you and Timberland being sort of like leading this new movement of good music. Great, thank you, great music. But who who else? I just kind of want to. I don't know if this is a delicate question, but who else do you sort of respect a lot out there that's producing music that you would also call great music?
It's a lot of people. A lot of stuff people haven't heard yet, but I went to the studio with her one night and with Polo the Don. He played me some stuff that made me, okay, I gotta go ahead and stop lollygagging and get back in the studio. But him, just because he loves music and excited to show it off or whatever the case may be. I love the Runners. I always been a fan of Rodney Jerkins. Tricky right now. Tricky Stewart is somebody I've been watching and listening to and kind of grown a fan of. It's a lot of people. I'm just anybody doing anything that inspires me. It don't matter who. I love it. I listen to it and I learn from it or whatever the case may be.